well in places like Lagos, most parts sometimes, and other places as well. And we keep talking about these things over and over, but nothing really tangible have been done about it. Now, for the part of schools, it's a good thing that yes, now they're serious about it and seeing how they can collaborate with SUBEB, UBEC, and not just even government-owned institutions, but private-owned institutions, to see that the standard, all stakeholders, the standard of the structures is of the highest quality to avert what happened in jail, so we won't have a reputation of it.
Okay, now the question again is, okay, now it has happened. We know that the integrity of the structures have been compromised. So what happened to the people that were responsible for the construction of this building in the first place? Because we have a way of weaving things off. Maybe it's because of the way we carry religion here in this part of the world, where we say, okay, he's forgiven, but people have died. Somebody supervised that building, an engineer supervised that building. We're not talking about the architect yet, because he's to design, and I'm thinking probably the engineer did not build to type, and that happened. So what happened to the persons involved? Were the right materials used, or the right quality or quantity? These are the questions should be asking.
Now,
and
the
people should be named, and prosecutions should be taken on them.
It's actually a long chain of, when you talk about corruption in Nigeria, and they say corruption is everywhere. Now, when it comes to even building infrastructures and even materials, it's a whole long chain, right? Let me begin with the architecture, the engineers that designed this building. One would expect that for that profession, they have to have the highest form of integrity, where it will not be compromised. So even if the contractor tells them, I want you to do a story building, whereas the initial plan was meant for just one block, and the contractor insists, I think the best thing to do for that engineer is to rather walk away.
Yes,
but here we have now where it's not being carried out, and even on the part of Urban, right? Urban approves just a certain kind of structure, but then go and double it. When Urban comes back to say, no, we're breaking down, this is not what they approve, what they do? Shake hand behind the back. Now come to talk about building materials. Now, because of the high cost of cement out there, you find where block builders are using, to surprise you to know that as we speak, block builders are using a bag of cement to make over 500 or more blocks.
Really?
I'm serious. I've had reports like that. I have people reach out to me and to say, please, this needs to checkmate. I've seen where somebody used just a tiny portion of cement to do a very large quantity of blocks. Now, what will not happen in the future? Those blocks definitely will not be strong. They will not be of the highest quality. And things like that will affect the buildings, and eventually it will collapse. So it's a whole long chain. So if you're going to talk about this thing, we need to go back first and foremost from the foundation, which is the kind of building materials that we have out there in the market for people to purchase.
Well, it's sad that this has happened in Jos, and condolences to the parents and people that are in charge of these children. We hope that this will not happen again, and of course we wish that the government should prosecute people. You see, there should be examples for committing certain crime, whereby this is a crime as far as I'm concerned, because some children lost their lives. And it's very important to note at this point in time that we should be more patriotic in the things we do. It's not about just being patriotic. When you are patriotic to Nigeria, patriotic to Nigerian citizens. So, and this involves all the things you do. Even the sales you make in the market shows patriotism. So in this case, building materials, I'm sure it is, of course, the house must have outlived its usefulness, because houses are meant to last for certain time. For example, they'll tell you the crates that the shipping lines use to crate things to different parts of the world is supposed to last for 20 years. So after 20 years, it will begin to fall apart. They'll tell you a ship is supposed to last for 200 years. After 200 years, they are supposed to tear it apart and probably use the materials for the what is it called, the scrap, for other things. So it's very important to note that this particular building can only last for 50 years, and after 50 years it should be torn down and something else should be built there. So these are things we should be talking about, and I think these are things the government should look into and let us have a growing Nigeria at this point in time. Well, we'll be going on a short break. Our guests will be seated with us, and we're going to discuss a very important topic that, of course, will whet your appetite this morning as you take your breakfast. Please do stay.
Welcome to the exciting world of Benue Television, where we give you an exclusive ride into the world of news, current affairs, and entertainment. Ready for a first stop? Ride with me. Benue Television.
Our news and flagship program, Daybreak Benue, keeps you informed on events and happenings around the nation and the world.
We engage our guests on hot topics and beam searchlight on shady stories.
With millions of people watching Benue TV worldwide, we ensure that we bring you news that is accurate, timely, and dependable.
Our programs are entertaining and educative with high quality audio, leaving you with an amazing viewing experience.
Benue TV, a new dimension in broadcasting.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Daybreak Benue on Benue Television. Today we shall be discussing a very interesting topic, International Youth Day, Youth as Agents of Change. By the way, we celebrated that occasion yesterday, and it was interesting. Today, seated in our studios to discuss this important issue is Francis Swen, the Senior Special Assistant to Governor on Special Groups Mobilization. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Our next guest also is Daybreak Benue. He's a Special Senior Assistant to the Governor on Youth Organization and Illegal Levies. You're also welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir.
Yesterday was International Youth celebration. Now you may need to discuss or tell us who is a youth. Please.
Thank you very much. A youth is a person between the childhood and adulthood. The youthful age ranges between 15 and 25. So a youth or youthfulness is that stage in life between childhood and adulthood.
So is somebody at 30 not a youth anymore?
He is, or she is rather, because like I said earlier, it's between the ages of 15 and 35.
Okay, 35.
Yes.
Okay, I thought you said 25.
No, 35.
Okay. Okay, do you want to lend your voice to that?
No, you just said it all. That is the international standard of the to define who is a youth. But in Nigeria, we say youth begin at 40 or 50 thereabout. But the international standard, that is the range of youth.
All right.
In Nigeria, actually, they even say that youth is state of mind.
Yes.
So you can have a 70-year-old man becoming youth leader.
Once a youth,
A typical example of youth. A typical example of it. You see, Ateketon was at the age of 50, 60, and still advocating for youth in Niger Delta. Sari Tokumbo is around 50 to 60, and he's still advocating for youth in Niger Delta there too.
All right.
That is the Nigeria standard of it.
I don't have a problem with the Nigerian standard as far as the person is still active
yes.
and still productive.
Yeah, that's true.
Because at the end of the day, it is how active you are and how productive you are.
Yeah, that's true.
Because in this part of the world, you've seen where 70-year-old people are even more productive than people of 30, 20 something.
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe it's because of productivity. Okay, but now let's talk about the state of the youth, Benue and Nigeria. We've seen where leadership, they say they tell you children, you are the leaders of tomorrow. That is children. Yes, but now we have the youth who is supposed to be a leader by now. He's supposed to be trained to be a leader. So now, why is it that it is difficult to give leadership mantle to youth in this country? Of course, you are young, you have a leadership mantle now. You are also young, but I think it is because the governor has seen it differently.
Yes.
But before now, it was not happening. At least maybe give it like 10 years ago. So why is it difficult to give the youth leadership positions?
Let me take that first before my colleague will now chip in. I would say we didn't prepare for that. Most of the youths didn't prepare their mind for leadership.
Okay.
And because just like you say, they say the youths are leaders of tomorrow, and in the previous years back, you see our youth, they did not prepare for taking over leadership from the people who said they are leaders of tomorrow. But if you can see the way, just like you say, before the coming in of this administration, when the governor came on board, the governor said the people who he can work with, they are the youths. And you see 90% of his administrators go to the head of agencies, go to his commissioners, advisors. You can see within the range of 40 downward, 30 downward. That is the highest you can see is around 50. Because he knows that, just like you say, you see as a 70-year-old man, he will be more active than the young man of 30 to 25 thereabout. We have prepared ourselves to take over the leadership. That is why you see us being active like this time around. And when you see youth of nowadays or youth of these days, we don't believe in pressing forms the whole day. We believe in engaging ourselves in one way or the other. Go to the agriculture. See the way youth have found themselves into agriculture. Unlike before, you see lazy youth complaining on the street that the government is not doing anything for them. This time around, you see pictures of young men in farm. You see pictures of young ladies. I saw a picture of a young lady farming. The thief people we normally farm two hands. You see, these are things that are being encouraged. People see them and you know that this youth are ready to take over the leadership. We're not waiting for more. We're not more longer waiting again. We're not longer complaining about they are not doing this for us. They are not doing this for us. A graduate will be waiting for him to get a colorful job. Maybe applying for NNPC, applying for all these colorful jobs. But these days, a graduate, immediately you graduate, you're looking for somebody, you're looking for something that you can earn your living. You don't wait for the leaders to call on you again. What happened these days are the media aid. These people will start promoting you before you know. Before you call somebody to come and start promoting you, before you make the person media aid. But the youths don't sit down these days like that to wait for you to promote them. So we have already started taking over the leadership now. And if you go into every sector, go into business, you see young men making it there. Go into agriculture, young men making it there. Go into politics, young men. So we're not more longer waiting for the leadership to come before we take over. We have already taken over our leadership now.
It's okay. You may have something to say about that.
Yes. I can only say that the problem of youths not taking up leadership positions or not being in leadership is a historic problem.
Okay.
It cannot be reduced to either the unwillingness of youth to lead, because it's already a problem that, like I said before, is a historic problem. Before now, we have youth that rose to take up leadership positions, even at the national level. If you trace back the history, you will understand that Gawon, for instance, who became the head of state, was at the age of 30, 31, thereabout. And then back home here, J. Starker, when he came to limelight, he was at the age of 22, 25, 30, thereabout. But I think there was a disconnect. Before the coming of democracy, the return of democracy in 1999, the youths were taking up leadership positions, but with the coming of democracy, there was a shift. People that came into leadership were mostly from the ages of 50 and above. This is because there were a lot of challenges, and first of all, the problem of finance. The youths were not buoyant enough to pick tickets and go into elections and take up leadership positions and all that. We thank God that today we are having a leeway where our leaders are youth friendly and are bringing up youths to take up leadership positions. So it's not about the unwillingness of youth, but it's about the opportunities that are available and open to them.
Okay, Honorable Francis, let me take you on this question, because you know the essays to the governor on a special groups mobilization. And I'm looking at the theme for the 2024 International Youth Day, which is Click to Progress, Youth Digital Pathways for Sustainable Development. And I'm beginning to wonder the kind of activities that are played out here in Benue State to mark this beautiful International Day with this incredible theme that is actually a conversation that society globally is beginning to have. Were there any series of activities that was carried out yesterday, organized by your office, that you can walk us through? And if not, why was there no any activity? Walk us through what really happened here in Benue State to celebrate this day yesterday.
From my office, actually, there was no specific activity to mark the celebration of International Youth Day. Of course, the Commissioner for the Ministry of Youth and Sport organized some activities, but at my own end, as the SSA to the governor on special group mobilization, there was no activity because whatever activity that was supposed to actually take place was supposed to be coordinated by the Ministry of Youth and Sport.
Yeah, and that happened.
Let me just chip in here. You know, in my office, we organize a little get together with some selected heads of youth, because why we didn't open up a bigger one? Because of the fear of the unknown, because of the protests, the end bad government protest which is taking place around, supposed to end on the 15th of this month. So if you organize anything before that day, you don't know who will take over. The hoodlums can take over, or because the governor has made this day would have been a special day for us yesterday. In fact, the ministry where I come from, the Ministry of Youth and Sport, who have organized a very big, it's supposed to be a week program, because we wanted to do some carnival, some get together, some lectures for some youths, and we organized a whole week program, but we cannot do it because of the protest. So we are hoping to do after the.
Okay, what do you make of the theme though? Click to Progress, Youth Digital Pathways for Sustainable Development.
No, the team is a very good one. You know, the youth are paving way for development. That is the digital. With the youth, we are moving from analog to digital, just like I said it from the first time. Where if you see the youth, the way they are engaging into digital activities, the government of Benue State has also we have started training 10,000 youth into digital training at BSU now. If you go there, you see youth are engaging themselves into this, and they have already started paving ways from chaos to good things. You see, instead of involving themselves into violent activities, our youth nowadays, our youth these days in Benue State, I'm talking about Benue State particularly.
Yeah.
If you see the way even we shun the protest, that is to tell you that we're not ready to start going back, or we're not ready to start destroying what we have now. No youth, we didn't record one single person to even raise a flag in Benue State for protest. I bet you if you see anyone on the street, we have learned from our mistakes. We have known the bad now. We have known the good now. Just like before, in Benue State, you would have seen people moving on the street, start destroying the street lights, start destroying the roads, start destroying ministries, and start destroying even at the places the government keep food. The places where we have stores of food for the less privileged, the common man on the street. Nobody, we didn't see anybody going to those places to attack those places. That is, we have started moving from analog to digital. We have started paving ways from, we have known the good now. So the youth in Benue State, that team has even reflects directly to us. The team, we celebrated it within us. Even you as a youth, you celebrated the team yesterday. So we have just even a little party in my office and some other offices that belongs to youth. We hold placards and we hold posters and we snap pictures. We put it on the air to mark it to mark the day. That is to say that we too in Benue State will have participated in the celebration of the team today, and we are ready to.
Honorable Francis, take on the theme for this 2024 International Youth Day.
Well, the essence of this celebration actually is meant to celebrate the potentials of youth and then to identify the challenges. So just like the theme for 2024 celebration states, like my colleague said, is moving from analog to digital. And here we are to identify some of the challenges that may hinder the progress of youth as regards to the use of internet. The internet is supposed to be a hub to help the youths bring out their potentials for progress, to develop their communities, to develop their nation. But there are challenges in the sense that the internet is used wrongly most times anyway. There are few youths that use the internet for good, to make money and stuff like that. But still, there are so many youths that use the social media, the internet, they use it wrongly. So this event, and as the theme implies, is supposed to help identify the challenges youths have in order to develop their potentials in that direction.
All right. You said I need to take us back a little. Earlier you spoke about how that when democracy came to stay, and because of its capital, it is capital intensive to run elections and all that. So the youth didn't have access to finance, but some persons that came did, and that's why they are where they are, older people. So now, don't you think the is a question now that the reason why, or the reason youth in this country are not financially buoyant is a systemic thing? It's like it is planned that finances will be taken away from the youth so that they cannot express their full potential. Do you think that is why the youth are that not financially buoyant?
Well, it's natural that the adults may have more than the younger ones, maybe because they have been into maybe businesses or into politics, and from what they have gathered from their youthful age to the stage they are, it is normal that they
must have accrued. They must have had like a huge amount of money.
Huge amount of money, exactly.
Through savings and the rest. But in other parts of the world, younger people are making inroads. Younger people, if you talk about the Facebook guy, if you go to Silicon Valley, it's young boys and girls that are millionaires.
That is why I was referring to you, that is youth of those days. But I'm just giving you a side example. Even if you say at that time in 1999, Gabriel was in House of Rep at the youthful age. Yeah. In fact, even when he was a governor, he was still at the youthful age. Yes. So I won't disagree with that, because take the lives of those people who make the House of Rep in 1999. We have youth among them. Okay. So I'm just giving you an example of one. Gabriel who was a House of Rep member, and also even at that time it's just a determination. If you determine to most of this youth, or just some of them, just the inferior complex, or should I say the fear, because we didn't even when the democracy returned back, most of the youth was a kind of fear to engage into politics. They feel the politics was a kind of a class of the old. Okay. Immediately we start chipping into it. You see, we have taken over it.
I'm thinking that the youth were not involved, not because okay, for the example you gave, I think is like 1 out of 20. Because if you are saying the youth are actually participating in politics, it means we should have them everywhere.
How many of them contest that election? How many youth contest?
Okay, but we have a situation in Nigeria where we call something godfatherism, and it is the godfather that decides what you become. So it's not about you wanting to contest. It is about who has been chosen to come and contest. So what we're saying here is that, does the youth in Nigeria have a level playing ground?
Free level playing ground. I said, and I'm still repeating it again. Okay. If I want to engage myself if I want to contest election, I don't know my feet. I know how I've worked myself to contest election. So you don't just about going into election, you don't have anybody around. Forget about the godfatherism. I give you an example of our governor in the state here. If anybody said that he is the godfather of the governor today, I think the person is lying, because before coming in, before he pick a political party, he has a crowd there. Go out there and see, before the governor pick a political party, he has a numerous of people supporting him. So we have supporters around him, the globe, people agitating for him to come for the governor. And again, I still repeat again, most of our youth don't feel, when you talk about come and contest election say no, I don't want to go into a politics, I don't want to go contest election, it's a dirty game. They call names and they mention names. But I say go to the House of Assembly now. How many old men do you see?
Okay, but you are talking about now. He said something, and I think is very pivotal.
And I disagree with that, because
he said something about the issue the youth is having now is historical.
Yes.
Okay. If you begin to talk about the people that fought for the independence of Nigeria, they were young. Konagoro, Awolowo, Azikiwe. If you name the names, they are endless. Okay, but it came. There was a disconnect. Just to quote you, there was a disconnect, and that disconnection has given the Nigerian youth a different mentality. That politics and leadership is for the old. And the old also encourage you by saying you are the leaders of tomorrow. So they are not even encouraging you to take the mantle of leadership now. And I think that is deliberate. But we will not be talking about that now. When we come back from our break, you'll be talking about that. Please stay with us. We are still going to be talking about this issue. Please, I'm going to join this discussion. Your comment, your questions, your contributions. Do stay after this break. Thank you for staying there. We've been talking about International Youth Day, youth as agents of change, and our guests this morning have been Honorable Francis Ngutswen, the SSA to the Governor on Special Groups Mobilization, and also seated here also is Honorable Daybreak Benue, the SSA to the Governor on Youth Organization and Illegal Levies. Now, we were saying earlier that, as far as I'm concerned, anything about the youth and where they are being relegated to is systemic. But you be speaking for the government and what has been happening. But I'm trying to say that it is this present administration, probably from the federal to the state, to some states, particularly Benue State, that have come to realize that the youth is a very important, is an important spoke in the wheel of progress. Now, if it is systemic, okay, if it was not systemic, let me use words now because it's in the past.
Yeah.
So what really happened? Because I don't want to believe that the youth is not interested in leadership, but it is because something has happened and he has been relegated to the background. This is important because we have about 60 to 70% of our population as young people.
Yeah.
Let's be modest, 65%, and Nigeria has been rated as one of the youngest nations in the world.
Yeah.
So now, if you don't harness the potential these people have, you are going to be sitting on a gunpowder, a keg of gunpowder, because the point will come, these people become a menace to the country.
Yeah.
So now we need to talk about that disconnect, what really happened and how to get out of it.
Yes, like I said before, is a systemic problem.
Yeah.
Because if not only recently, where we have, for instance, for us in the state, the governor of the state appointing youths as commissioners,
Yes.
and heads of departments and parastatals, principal special assistant and senior special assistant. Before now, if they are introducing a senior special assistant to the governor, you see a grandfather. Yes. So it depends on the opportunities available. It's not that the youths are not willing to take up leadership positions, and it's not even as if the youths cannot do well. They can, and they are willing to take up leadership positions, but the opportunities available to them are not enough. Take for instance, we have already mentioned about the coming of democracy. How many youths around that time had enough money to buy tickets in millions to contest? How about the cost of electioneering? So they hiked these prices so that the youth cannot be able to go into the contest. Now they were reduced to the roles of thuggery. They were reduced to errand guys, and even those that were actually in the contest were because they have godfathers that can sponsor the elections for them. It wasn't because they had all the opportunities and they took up leadership positions. No, it was because they have godfathers. If not because we have a governor now, we have a shift from the status quo. You wouldn't have seen a lot of youth in government, and we owe our governor a lot for that, because he has actually acknowledged the potentials in youth and is working with the youth. It's something we are very, very grateful.
Okay,
I
think he wants to say something.
No, let me just
Okay,
take
he wants to say something.
Anyway, he has convinced me now a little bit. I was disagreeing with him, but he has convinced me a little bit. But I will also say one or two, because it's just lack of support from our youth. You know, we have a BE now, not too young to rule.
Yes.
We have a BE now. How many young Nigeria are they taking advantage of that BE? Because see, just like you said, the return back of democracy in 1999, the truth is that the formation of the political parties, the Solomola, the lives of the Agumade, Udugbe was there because PDP was a major political party at that time, an NNPP, the lies of the former president Buhari, who they have the NNPP, the Sromola, and Gumari has the PDP there. So if you look among the 12 disciples who make the PDP, who was a young man there? So I agree with him for that, because who was a young man there to project the youth there? So when the democracy returned, this was a kind of, I don't know where the disconnect comes from. I feel the youth shun away the political class thereabout, as if they have forgotten about something is existing there. But immediately when we take over and start agitating there, because just like you say, we have the 70% of youth in Nigeria, and if by the time we say no to, anytime the youth say no to something, you see the fear the old normally have. They'll start responding quick, and they'll start responding that they want to solve these issues, because if you neglect their solving the youth problem in the country, it will cause damage so much. So I agree with that, and I see, and I have to give credit to our governor too, by finding worthy of young men, 90% of his administration, young men. So I have agreed with that, and I feel we have taken off a little bit. I am giving example to Benue State. In Benue State now, if you go to our House of Assembly, you only find youth there. We figure out just 5 old men there. If you go to even at the National Assembly now, yes, if you go to if you go to National Assembly now, the House of Rep, a particular House of Rep, I think 60% of House of Representatives at the National Assembly, they are all youth. Even at the state here, you can even mention them here. So,
and your office strategically positioned you because you're not just SSA to the Governor Youth Organization, but that of illegal levies as well. And if we're looking at the theme for this year, which is a click to progress, I see how it's linked to mindset, because before now, just like the whole systemic placement of youth, relegating them to the background that Stephen has been trying to talk about, I see where before now a Benue youth is not worthy of being paid 100,000 naira in our organization. And as I speak now, if you look at the statistics, not up to 10 Benue youth will boast of having 1 million naira in their account. But if you move away from Benue State to other states, you will find a 19-year-old, a 23-year-old talking of 10 million naira, 30 million naira, as though it is 10,000 naira. But if you come to Benue now, where you even as a young person work, the person to pay you will see even 30,000 naira as a big deal to give to you. I will feel you should be so grateful, lie down and worship them because they have given you 30,000 naira. All of those things, I see the mindset, how it has really affected the youth in terms of progress, in terms of how they are wired, self-worth, you know, what they can aim, who they should be, and it all boils down to the activities they carry out on day to day, where you now find some of them just blocking roads for 100 naira, and that's okay for them. Now that your office have to some extent done away, to a large extent done away with these illegal levies and have taken the youth away from the streets, what next in terms of modeling their mindset, in terms of showing them other opportunities are available to them, especially considering that of digital pathways, which of course is the focus, the central focus for the 2024 International Youth Day?
Thank you so much. This is a very beautiful question. I think the states you're mentioning, every state has its way of making money. If you go to Lagos State, you see a lot of industry. You see a lot of industry there, and a young man who's around 19, who's only working in the pure water factory, can make that kind of amount. If you go to Lagos, if you go to Kano, another center of business, so every state has its way of making money. Here we have agriculture. I bet you go into agriculture for just within 1 year, 2 years, you make more than 20 million naira. A truck of cassava, a full load of cassava, sold at the rate of 10 million naira. So take it, you have sold just one truck of cassava, and you have 10 million naira. You're not more than somebody who's living in Lagos. So why are you blocking the road for? A day you spend on the road of blocking this road you can spend that day in your farm. That day you're looking for a whole 1 week, you're looking for to cut illegal receipt or to make a money from the illegality you're looking for. You can spend that 1 week from your farm and you'll make it. So this time, that is why we're telling the youth, we are moving them from the illegality from where they can make money. We have a lot of agricultural. The governor has given us this year. In fact, the fertilizer is even much that you can even apply it on your farm. Some of them are even reserving it for next year. You cannot even complain that you don't have agricultural farms too, that is making you to be involving yourself in one crime or the other. The beginning of the farm season, before, I think it's around March or April there. Yeah, April. And the rainy season starts from April. Immediately in the month of April, the governor flagged up the chemical and the fertilizer disease at the Banada there. People was even having he subsidized it. Bag of fertilizer that was selling around 30 something in Nasarawa, in Kogi, in other states, was selling at the rate of 17,500 naira in the state here. A chemical that is being sold in Nasarawa or any other states for 3,500 naira was selling here 1,700 naira. So why are you complaining? Give me the reason why you're blocking the road. Give me the reason why you're involving yourself.
Now that you mentioned Lagos states have things like industries where youth can capitalize upon to increase their net worth and see themselves worth and make so much progress. And because when you have money, actually you have a voice, even louder voice, and you feel more inclined to be part of decision making, right? Now that you mentioned Benue have agriculture, which of course agriculture, if we focus so much on it, will even be richer than states with oil. Do the youth have access to these lands?
If you say you don't have access to this land,
they have access to land.
Okay.
Okay, he wants to say
I know that before now we have challenges of insecurity, whereby it was difficult to access farmlands. But now the state is open for farming because His Excellency has done a lot in the area of insecurity, and there's a lot of improvement. People can actually go to farm. So the youths have opportunities now to access farmlands. Even if you don't have, because I understand that in most local governments you don't have large farmlands, large areas to farm, but you can hire them other places. There are other places that have large farmlands that you can hire at a small rate. So there are opportunities.
Let me even chip in again, because a typical example in my village here, because this is my local government. We can't even, before coming in of this administration, you can't even access. You have engineer barrack and 72 barrack. So the back of the engineer barrack, there you can't even access your farmland. The insecurity make up to the level that just at the border of the barrack, nobody was even
going beyond
that. Nobody was going beyond 72 barrack. But now, off to you go down up to one day, you go there and you see a lot. In fact, those people, if you go around this area, you don't need to buy for a game, because somebody will even cut his maize and other things within the farm and even dash you. So if you're from rocking places that are full with rock that you can't be able to farm, come down here. The insecurity that was around Makudi, Guma, Goe is, because this is where I come from, and this was places we have a lot of mass burials, and we have a lot of persons displaced sitting on the road and all this. Now we have a lot of farmland here. So move from migrate from that place. You are come here, we rent the place for you. You come here and farm.
And you see, His Excellency has made it very easier this time around that if you have a farmland, approach the Ministry of Agric. There are tractors there.
Yes.
They will go and work on the farm for you.
Okay, now
and he also, His Excellency has even said it out. We have cooperative that has been giving a lot of chemical. Just gather yourself 20. If you're in number 20 numbers, you go to the Ministry of Rural Development and cooperative. You just register there. You have your access, and it's free.
He's saying here is that is a mentality. I know when mentality has been ingrained, it's difficult to just come and wave it off. For example, if you bring a Lagosian to Benue, Benue will be too slow for him. Because Lagos is a fast-paced state. Things happen very fast. So he was born in Lagos. Maybe for the past 19 years he's been in Lagos. He's in his 20s. And when you bring him to Benue, you will need to adjust to Benue climb, and it's going to take a long time. So now the question is, you said earlier that what the youth was used for, Togri and the rest of them.
Yes.
So they were making easy money without necessarily working.
Exactly.
Just for the fact that you followed a politician from here to Abuja, they give you an allowance.
Exactly.
So now, bringing that person back to farming, I think there's something your office should do in terms of mentality change.
That's sensitization, the awareness campaign.
Are you doing that?
Yes. Well, I've done a lot of awareness campaign and a lot of sensitization by telling people to move away from this form of Togri. In fact, my office has even banned the means of Togri or harassment of people in political gathering. I make a press statement and I make it an announcement on the radio.
Okay.
It is hard now. Your people normally go to all our political
But you didn't make
gathering.
the announcement on Biri television.
No, that is okay. I will do that because we have banned people harassing youth, harassing politicians, or harassing people around the political gathering. Do you know that even before coming off earlier,
Yes.
even you go to churches and you go to church and somebody, you are coming out from church, a young man will just come say, obviously God give us something in church. So barriers and all this, but now they have changed their narrative. Go out there, go to any public function. It's hardly you see a youth. Obviously, give us something. Okay, give us something. Hitting somebody's car. You can't find out in Benue State again. If you see anywhere, any of the occasion.
Okay, I'm trying to look at a possibility. That is, if you haven't already, of you collaborating with other ministry or agencies to see how you can be more intentional about mobilizing youth at certain locations or strategically moving them out of poverty or underdevelopment, through agriculture or digital, pathways. And I'm going to make a reference to North Bank because I see a lot of idle youths there. I know what they say about idle minds being the devil's workshop. So you have lots of youth in their prime time there with nothing to do and are hungry, and the next thing that comes to mind is courtesan or theft. So you have high rates of crime there, or rape, or some high rates of teenage pregnancy. So what are we doing with this good number of youths, particularly making reference to North Bank?
Okay. Yeah, as you said, in fact, when we came on board, we make a sensitization of say no to courtesan, say no to marching ground. We tour around my office and they collaborate with the office of the advisor to the governor on security internal, Johar. Yes, we collaborate and we make a sensitization around Makudi round. In North Bank, went to North Bank Market, went to Lafia Garage. You said a lot of idle young men in North Bank. Just like we're saying, we're changing the narrative gradually. North Bank has a lot of land, empty land around North Bank. I give you a back of that is from Yobo Road. You have a vast land there to Ante. If you go to another from there to Agan, the both side you have a lot of land to go to farm and make your money there. And again, you see, these people, most of them are receiving the change gradually because of the life they lived before. And again, we have a center around that Lafia Garage where most of these people who carry out this crime run to hide at night because of the level. They don't sleep around that place. They drink gogoro and drink other things throughout the night till daybreak. We have collaborated with Ministry of we have collaborated with the urban development to dismantle those containers around in the front of Lafia Garage. That is the hiding point. By the time you take away that place, because we have given them notice to move away from that place, the 2 month notice, and it has elapsed now. The day before yesterday, the urban we have my office went there to sensitize them, and the urban development has also carried out the sensitization program around that place to tell them that they don't want to see them around that place again. By the time you dismantle those containers around that place again, you don't see anybody hanging around those place in the night, or you don't see anybody hanging around that place in the day. They will look for something doing. There has been a change. Some people don't accept change in a easy way. So there are some means you take them in a way they will accept the change.
For a very long time, sorry, Honorable Francis, these people have known a particular lifestyle.
Yeah.
And they have been in the dark. So you now being enlightened and seeing a different pathway to life and that of progress and development. I think you have to do more than sensitizing them and telling them courtesan is not good. If you're taking away that lifestyle of courtesan, of theft from them, you have to go extra miles, actually offering them something else and even pulling their hands and helping them for at least to start with. Like yes, I see you mobilizing a group number of youth in North Bank or even Wadata, and then helping them form a cooperative, helping them, leading them on to access tractors, leading them on to access lands that are being cleared by government, giving them seedlings, teaching them how to even plant them. By the time they enjoy the first fruits, they will stand on their own.
Yes, let me chip in here. You see, it's about setting priorities and identifying the potentials that are there where you are staying. We have a government before now that declared one of the days of the week a work-free day for civil servants to go to the farm.
There was no farm still.
Now, there was a problem with that. Not because people were allowed to go to the farm. The problem was that there was no security in the farms, and then there were no opportunities available for intending farmers. Now, the youths have to identify the potentials that are available for them in the states now. If you give a youth, let's say 500,000, and tell him to just stop what he's doing, he will spend it and go back to what he has been doing. You see, the difference now is government has made it very easy for the youth to first of all identify the potentials around them. And actually I keep emphasizing farm because this is one of the greatest assets we have in our state. You have Akresa is there to help. You have Novel Microfinance that is giving loans at micro level to youths that are open to these potentials. They can actually go to the farm using those loans and the opportunities available at Akresa. So we are here is part of the orientation we are talking about.
That is we're also doing. And just like you see that, like you mentioned, a lot has been given to that area, and a lot of attention has been given to around North Bank. And just like I say, change is something that some persons don't believe in change, because most of them, the lifestyle they was living is about pushing these cars and getting money from these people. And if you talk about matching ground, North Bank was one among the high rate of matching ground. The youths, they find themselves in a way that even if you go around Unagric side, if you want to drop your load from Unagric as a visitor, they do not even allow you.
Tax force.
They will collect money from you before you even drop your vehicle, your load. So, and again, you see that around that Lafayette garage, they will gather themselves there, moving around those villages, collecting money from developers, collecting money from people who want to carry out businesses. And in urban markets, they are around the youth around that places. They don't do anything. They will go into the market and shoot gun. People will run away and get goods from those business people. So now that we have stopped those things, now that we are beginning to stop those things completely, it is difficult for them to live. Truly, it's difficult for them to live because the change has come. So the only way to accept is the only way to live. They must accept the new change. Because we were talking about going to agriculture, and I say the only place you can even access land, much land, is around that area. So why are you sitting drinking morning tea night you see you don't have anything to do? No. Well, in fact, my office has shared fertilizer. I've even given a lot of persons fertilizer in North Bank and chemicals to go to farm. So what are you complaining of? We We have enlightened them. We have told them that this government, you can't make easy money like that.
Okay, now is it possible to gather this youth like a classroom scenario and begin to do something like a mindset change? I remember when the former governor of Lagos State, what is his name again? This former minister. No. Fashola. You know, Fashola, when he formed LASMA, when he formed LASMA, it was the Agberos in all the garages that were harassing people that he turned to LASMA officials.
Yeah.
But before that happened, they were called, they were trained, they were given uniforms, and there was this mentality change because of talking to them, showing them the prospect they can have in the future if they follow this path. These things are very important,
and that is why you see the task force doing the task force on illegal revenue.
Yes.
The task force on illegal levies that have been formed in my office. Most of the people, it's hardly you see graduate there.
Okay.
You don't even see NCE holder or whatever there. Okay. The highest you see is secondary school. The task force is been picked these people on the street to form the task force there. You can't succeed without picking them.
Yeah.
So it is them that will carry out this art. It's them who collect this matching ground before. I've picked 70% of them now. It is them who go out when you want to collect, because they know the lungu and they know everything how they used before collecting this money. So it's them that will say, immediately they say somebody want to collect matching ground around Yaiko, they'll say no, it's this person that will go there. So you're not bank to, I'm using them. Okay. It is them that I'm using. The last mile you're talking about, that is a task force on illegal levy in Benue State. It is them that I'm using. Go to Boko now. You can be even on the air. You watch. Even yesterday, somebody who went to demolish one woman fence because of no payment of matching grant for 50,000 naira. They went and arrest the person there, and the person who agreed that he will build it in 24 hours time. So it is this task force that is now operating what is called Java.
Okay.
Java, you know, Java in English is, I think, the strongest man. Somebody, a youth will just, because I am strong within this area, so he will not call himself Java. So he will be sending boys, go and collect money like this and bring from him. Go and extort money like this, go and bring illegal money like this. So now it is them I am using to stop these things. So in North Bank too, I'm using most of the Java there to stop those things. So since most of them have stopped these things, some of them who refuse to change, they are idle there, but they will look for something doing. While we are forcing them to go back to agric, and most of them are start going there.
Okay, now.
Agriculture is the only industry we have in Benue State.
Yeah.
Yes, for now. But the other companies too. Our governor is making ways. He's making ways to bring other industry to Benue State. But for now, agriculture is the only way we can make easy money. Easy money.
Let's talk about the youth as agent of change. Change. You said something and very vital. You said anytime the youth says no,
yeah,
the elders will begin to do whatever the youth is saying. So that is a sign that the youth can actually change whatever that is happening, the narrative. Yeah. Of course, we want a change where the youth will engage in legal processes to effect change. Now, where do you see the youth of Benue? Because right now we're having youth in House of Assembly. Let's talk about Benue State now. House of Assembly, and of course at the National Assembly we're having, but we can't speak about other states yet. Now, is there any possibility that a time will come the whole of House of Assembly in Benue State will be filled with the youth, and they are making very relevant dishing out very relevant policies and laws to run the state? Is it possible?
Yes. Even now, take the 10 bills that have been passed by Assembly. Okay. You see, the bill is passed by the State Assembly, or just like I'm talking about, the bill prohibited extortion and illegal levies in Benue State, being passed by this youthful assembly here.
Good.
So you see, the youth has even started, the impact has even started showing up to Benue State. The impact of youth being as agent of change, the state will enjoy it very well. Benue State will enjoy youthful activities within the state. The governor, when the governor came on board, I told you 90% of his appointee.
Yes.
Just 10 you can find the other ones there. But 90% of this government is youthful government. That is why I say when this end bad government protest starts from some other states started recording it, the youth say, what are we protesting for? Is it our colleague or our friends that in government that we are protesting? They should move away. A friend of mine called me and said, I have an NGO. I was contacted in Abuja that I should just record just 2 persons to stand and a snap picture. They sent to them in Abuja there. He said, is it because of me I am there that is snapping picture that he don't want this government? So the youth has now has changed. They have changed everything, every narrative in the state now. We didn't record anything because of the governor. Because of the governor, His Excellency has done much in youthful activities. And we say, is it the 10,000 youth that are training them at Benue State University that want to change the government? Is it the street light we want to change? It is the payment of salary we want to change? Is it the rural roads? It was yesterday, I was moving around to Shabaku. There's a place. In fact, even if there's a place since I was born, I don't see people. Anytime you see people crossing around that place, around Ashabaku to Gomende, it is under Katako. People will be walking on top of the Katako to cross around that side, as if you're in Bayelsa or you're in river areas. Yesterday night, I saw that place being open, and I said, "Push there." So what are we? Youth in Benue State, we are agent of change already now.
Okay, now
the change has taken place in us now.
You know, there's something called social media activism, and it's very rife in Benue State.
Yeah.
In fact, it has been recorded that the youth are more active on the social media than any other place in Nigeria.
Yes.
Okay, now, and this social activism on our media space has always been negative. Where they criticize, even when governments are doing good, they criticize them. They pick out a political figure and they just shred him on the social media.
And they have lost their value in Benue State this time around.
Okay, now the question is, youth as agent of change, how can the youth now help in mitigating against this what is happening on the social media?
The social media in Benue State has lost their value about criticism in Benue State this time around. And this is a government that you don't have. It's hardly you see somebody will go on the air to criticize. Because most of the social media activists, you have found them here in Benue State, their lives of their Okankuru, their Crazy, their UK, and the rest. Every day you see them singing praises to the governor. These are people who criticize the government of the day every day. But this time around, you see them singing praises to the governor. So all the social media critics, all the social media activists have lost their value in Benue State because they don't see what they will criticize about. They are rather even part of the government now because they was criticizing the old government, so that what they was criticizing, they want a good government. They want a good atmosphere where they can be part of the government too. They want a good government where youth can be carried along. They want a government where people will now start developing, youth will now start engaging, and they have seen this government already. They have seen this government already, and they see what the government is doing. I am saying these people have found themselves into the administration where they can now enjoy their lives. They compete with their fellow social media outside there. If they go out there, what you see them talking about, they are now comparing Benue State to other states. Okankru, every day you see him posting about this government, about this government. Crazy Tick posts about goodness of this government. So they don't criticize this government.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, to a great extent, I agree with what he said. You see, it is when the government or the leaders are not doing what the people want that the government is being criticized. And I can say that that we have experienced a change in the state as regards those negative comments about our leaders on the social media. The energy is now being channeled to positive ventures instead of just criticizing the government and stuff like that. Because you see, this government is very difficult to criticize because is it the construction of roads that you start criticizing? Is it the street lights? Is it the timely payment of salaries that you start criticizing? Or is it the improved security system in the state that you will criticize? So it's very difficult to criticize now. And so the youths are now moving that negative energy towards positive energy. One thing I also want to say is, looking at that topic, youths as agents of change. You see, an agent is an authority. Yeah. Somebody with a mandate to make a change. What change are we talking about? Positive change. Positive change. We have a window period now. We have an opportunity, and I want to call on our youths, especially those that are in authority. You make a change where you are working. You deviate from the status quo. Some of the positions that were given to youth, let me use Benue State for instance. Yeah. Some of the positions that are given to youth in the state, the older generations are waiting to see them fumble so that they will say, oh, you see, this is why we didn't involve them.
Youthful exuberance.
Yes. So I use this opportunity to call on youth. Wherever you are placed, make good of your job. Yes. Be creative. Make something out of it. Let people know that the youth have the potentials to actually effect that positive change. And then we will have a change, definitely.
Just like you say, Apereku regime. My late uncle, Angereke, who say during Apereku regime. Okay, let me quote somebody who is one alive, Barrister A.A. Ochoga. Yes, he said he was at the age of 27 when he was commissioner in the Apereku regime. He said what all of them did is that all the commissioner will come together and say, do this, do this, do this, because they say they want to make their name after here.
Exactly.
And what this administration is doing now, what the youth are doing here is not just we want to make our name after
not
here.
The money.
Not money, because if you go to it, some people are naming this administration that the administration, the appointees doesn't have money. Who told you that? Every month the governor normally pay our salary. Every month on the 22nd, the highest is 22nd. Every appointee is being paid in Benue State. So what we don't want is that we don't want to engage ourselves into this illegal activities or into fraud. It's hardly they accuse any commissioner or any advisor of diverting money that is being meant for social project to his pocket, or diverting social money to build story build. Unlike before, you see senior special advisors building houses in Abuja, building houses in Canada, building houses for their girlfriend, buying cars for their girlfriends. We are not doing that. We are putting those things on ground so that people will see. Go to Apereku Stadium, the governor gave it is just 1 month contract, and I was there. I snapped picture there 2 weeks back. By next 2 weeks, that place will be complete. Yesterday, commissioner quarters. So the place that have been abandoned for years. Go to commissioner quarters now. See what is going on there.
All right.
Okay. Still talking about this digital pathways for sustainable development. Now that we're seeing where youth are engaging themselves to some large extent meaningfully on social media space. Now, what I see most youth in other climes taking advantage of digitally to make lots of money, and there's lots of money online actually now as we speak. From having just followership. In terms of mobilizing the youth, are we creating awareness? Because it's in terms of followership, it's very low in Benue State too. That is a culture they are not familiar with or they don't understand. But recently, Jade Rudite, who is into robotic display, just sold her name for over $100 million. That's a lot of money, right? And I see a lot of influencers, Speedy Poppy, making lots of money, content creators making lots of money online. But that is a culture that Benue is left behind completely. And in order to at least bridge the gap so they will not give us so much space which is like becoming a new norm. Every time Benin is being gapped before Benin begins to start catching up. Are we mobilizing you to see the light in how digitally they can actually make a lot of money by just simply liking each other's pages, following each other on social media platforms on their pages, or subscribing to people's content, viewing the content? But people are always online, but not really seeing how strategically they can make money off their presence online.
You see, that is why they are being trained. There is this common saying that Rome was not built in a day.
Yeah.
Before now, there was a lot of rot in the state, and especially as it regards the internet. People normally go there to criticize what somebody is doing.
Yes, in Benue.
Now there is this shift. So not just a shift from people going to social media criticize, and now they are channeling their energies to useful ventures, but the governor has created a system where these youths are being trained. They are trained in so many internet endeavors, and we are hoping that by the time they graduate, 2 to 3 sets of the trainees we are going to have a boost on the internet. So it's not just what they choose to do with their phones or with their systems, but
Welcome back. We've been discussing youth as agent of change in Nigeria and of course globally, and we've been discussing with very interesting guests this morning. Please join us on this program as you send in your comments, your questions and your contributions. You were trying to say something earlier.
Yeah, I was trying to say something.
Yeah.
I wanted to contribute about the issue of this internet of the thing. Before now, our youths, just like you mentioned, they only go to Facebook to criticize only. But for now, they're not just, they are training them. 10,000 youth are now training in Benue State University. By the time they will graduate, so it's taking, you have 10,000 trained about internet.
Yeah.
After then again, the governor said it will be a continual process. 10,000 will go in there, will train for 6 months, will go out. Another 10,000 will go in there and train for 6 months and will go out. So by the time this administration, by the time we have completed our 8 years, because I know very well we're going to do the 8 years, because the people who are even started we have seen people who have started forming groups for us for 2027.
Until we get to that time.
Already they say they want what we are doing here, so
Yeah.
they don't want us to go out. Some people are saying they want to amend the constitution where the governor can even spend 12 years. Yeah. So by the time we finish our administration for 8 years, take it 6 months, 10,000 being trained every day about internet. By the time we finish, we'll have thousands of youths here.
Okay, now.
So we're going to even to make that money too. Unlike other places are also making the money
one
on
thing
internet
that
again.
they didn't teach us when we were in school was leadership and financial management.
Yeah.
Forget about the fact that we're taught economics.
Yes.
And probably you were a class monitor and all that. But I was thinking there should have been a subject about leadership and a subject about financial management. Now, you're talking about how the youth are going to be empowered. This is empowerment
Yes.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
But empowerment is not leadership.
Yes.
So now, what is your organization, your office, and probably this administration doing concerning having our youth think like leaders?
See the way I'm thinking now. That is yes, because I'm thinking now as a leader. No matter how youthful I am now, I'm thinking as a leader. I have been guided in any comment I want to make here, because take it that any comment I make here bad, it's going to bring my administration down, or it's going to take, because any comment I'm being making out, it is going to cut by His Excellency. This is what the youth here in Benue State are doing right now. It's hardly you see them behaving abnormal. We have been guided. These youth in Benue State, I have been telling you one thing, that the youth in Benue State now, they are different youth entirely. They have changed. So just take it that is the man on top of the throne. The man has changed the narrative of the youth entirely. Go to Lagos State now, any youth to see. I am from Benue State. You see him behaving like Father Lia. I am from Benue State, living in Abuja. Unlike before, now you see anywhere they arrest any youth or doing any crime, you see from Benue. There are showers you see plenty from any other state. They say it's from Benue State. I was watching one guy 2 days back on the social media, was telling his colleague that we move out from Benue State, and Benue State is now the safe home for us now. Let's come back to Benue State and develop. So the youths in Benue State are start thinking differently now. Okay. Leadership and money, you say it is a different thing, and entirely is a different thing. You have money, but you can't have the qualities of leadership. Go to our drinking joints now. We'll watch the way youths go to drinking joint and they behave
responsibly.
Very, very responsible. They don't drink anyhow again. Even the Ogogoro joint, you see youth drinking and fighting before. They don't behave like that. I have tell you that the youths now are thinking about taking over this leadership of a thing now. Okay. We have opened, the governor has opened way for the local government chairman and councillors. Go there and see people who are contesting chairman and councillors. I think from 30 downward, from 40 downward. I begin to see any poster you see on the net, any poster you see on the wall, anywhere, you see young men. Why are they struggling to go to leader? Why are they struggling to be in the face of the power? Why are they struggling to go into the leadership? Because the narrative of the youth has already been changed in the state. This person we are talking about, I don't know whether it's an ordinary man, but it has changed the narrative of every youth in the state.
Comment on that too. That how or are you thinking like leaders? Because leadership, the rise and fall of every nation is on the shoulders of the youth, and of course not just the leaders too.
Yes.
So are you thinking like leaders?
Yes. First of all, it was Abraham Lincoln who said the best way to predict your future is to create it. And so we cannot be aspiring for leadership without deliberate effort to replicate good leadership.
Okay.
When we were doing mobilizations during the time of electioneering campaigns, His Excellency had a policy of trying to develop or to identify good leadership qualities in youth. And there is something that he will always do. He will say that if you are going for an event, amongst yourselves, choose who will be the leader of that trip.
Yes.
And then the second time or the next time they are going for a function again, choose another person, a different person to lead. That was training. And from that, most of the youth already started learning how to lead the people, to be patient with them, to tolerate and stuff like that.
Okay, we have a very short time now, and I need you to talk about this quickly. You know, one of the things that is prevalent here is that an administration ends, another administration comes, and instead of continuing
the policies
of
the government,
I don't want to use the word destroy, but they don't continue, they bring their own policies. Now this administration is very favorable to youth, and in the next 10 years we expect that many of our offices will be occupied by young people, forward-thinking people. Do you think what His Excellency Governor Hassan Alia is doing will continue in the next 20 years in Benue State?
Yeah, I think because we are going to, His Excellency is not just leaving the office. His Excellency is leaving the office, and the person who is going to take over from me will be the person who will be among his cabinet. Because what the Benue people have seen now, do not even allow anybody to come outside His Excellency and take over the mantle of the state again. In fact, I'm even seeing it that the Benue people will even want His Excellency to endorse a particular candidate who will become the governor after him. Because what they have seen here now, the governor is in the state, and the governor doesn't leave anybody behind. He will go to Apereku and say, this go to the state secretariat, but not constructed by His Excellency. They look at the renovation has been taken. Go to Apereku Stadium, the commissioner quarter I just mentioned now. Go to other projects within the state. If you do any project that is very meaningful to the state, the governor will go there and start moving the project so that another person, so that people will benefit. The governor is talking about Tarakumi. In fact, the committee is even, there is a particular committee that has been set up now, committee of access recovery and another thing. And now I go to tomato
factory now.
Was built by Senator George Akume. Other places too. Any sector that the governor feeds useful, it is meaningful to the state, and something that can also bring back the beauty of the state, the government is touching and also bringing his own ideas too. Okay. So I don't think the governor will leave this kind of policies and this kind of programs, another person will come and destroy it. And that is why the person must come from His Excellency, and that is why we are making it possible that this is, we are not just leaving the administrative like this. I told you that the narrative of Benue youth has been changed because of one common person. Just because of one person, His Excellency the Executive Governor of Benue State has changed the narrative of Benue youth. And Benue youth will not even want another person to come in here and destroy what this man has.
I can say that there will be continuity, because there is a deliberate action towards recruiting youth into leadership. And this is being done, and as you can see, the youths are coming on board to take up leadership. They are contesting. And I know that His Excellency that is youth friendly will give that opportunity to the youth to come into leadership even at the grassroots level. And so there will be continuity. They are being tested, and so there will be continuity. I also believe that like my colleague said, His Excellency will hand over to a youthful governor, even younger than him.
Alright, maybe you may need to tell the Benue youth one or two things. 30 seconds for you.
Okay.
Just say something. One, to yourself as a youth leader, and as a youth occupying a position, and of course to generally the Benue youth.
Okay, Benue youths, I'm happy to be here as a youth. Your friend, your brother, your uncle is here. Take a look at what I am doing, Benue youth. We have at my office, we have tried our best to make sure we have set up a task force on ground where Benue youth will now engage ourselves into and stop this harassment of business owners, stop this extortion of money from developer. You see, sorry, I forgot to say this. Coca-Cola is back in the state.
Oh, really?
The last time I have a program here, I was telling you Coca-Cola and Holland leave the state because of extortion from taxes and illegal taxes. Coca-Cola is back. 2 weeks back, I was here at Coca-Cola.
Are you bringing Holland farms?
Holland, we are still talking about Holland. Holland will come back any moment from now.
Okay.
Big company that leave the state are coming back. That is to tell you when you have a good leader. So the youths, you should take it from our governor. Let's be like our governor, somebody who wants the progress of the youth. Please, and I need to appreciate the youth again. Please, my knees are on ground to thank you so much. My knees are on ground to thank you so much to not participating in the protest because of His Excellency. Yeah, I appreciate you. You say you're not going to do it because of the executive governor of Benue State. You give us your word and you have stand for it. So we appreciate you. Next time you can do more than this. We appreciate you, Benue youth. Keep on supporting the governor. Keep on being with the governor. After these 8 years, you will not regret. I appreciate Benue youth.
All right.
Yeah, I want to use the words of Leon Roosevelt, who said that the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. I want to, on this premise, encourage the youth. Do you have a dream? Do you have a goal in life? Stand by it. Develop it. And the future will be yours. The elections are by the corner. I want to encourage the youth to make use of this opportunity to contest. And I want to believe that His Excellency will give the youth the opportunity to lead the state. So they shouldn't be afraid. There's a window period now. An opportunity has been given. So they should brace up and take up the challenge of leadership.
Well, that's a good place to leave it. We've been talking to Honorable Francis Ngutswen, the SSA to the Governor on Special Groups Mobilization, and of course Honorable TV Benda, the SSA to the Governor on Youth Organization and Illegal Levies. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, sir.
We still look forward to having you on our show.
Always.
Yeah, we've come to the end of the show today. Thank you for staying with us, and if you have your comments and your contributions, this will be attended to on our social media handle. My name is Stephen Abba. You have a wonderful day.
And my name is Mercy Upan, saying be intentional about your progress. Go out there and find out opportunities that are available for you. Radio Television News will come up at 9 a.m.